excused at her request based upon her
Another juror down.
medical situation.
All right, so this witness right here is also one of the armed protectors of property. He seemed to have blacked out quite a bit during this night, but his testimony doesn't seem that damning for the defense, so it doesn't really matter. But here's some of that.
And you have a gun too, right?
Yes.
So one of the things I could do is take that gun from you.
Yes.
Try to.
Yes.
You want Sheriff Easy?
If I threaten to kill you if I saw you that night, and then I'm running full speed at you and I'm going for your gun, are those all things you would have considered when making a decision what to do against somebody like me?
A threat to my life, yes.
Boom, Sheriff Easy!
Was there a bullet in that chamber?
Yes.
So, in your training and experience with firearms, was that gun ready to be fired?
Yes.
Helping to establish that Gage was going to shoot Kyle and he could do it. Of course, Gage doesn't show up till next week.
Who had you read your statement?
Myself.
Well, who gave it to you? Sorry. I did. You heard on the tape things like people saying, cranium that boy, right? Cranium?
Cranium that boy.
Cranium that boy.
On
right?
the tape, yes. Yes.
Now,
Look at Binger Perko.
you'd agree, well, tell me if you'd agree. The statement that makes more sense is, I did shoot somebody and I need help. Right? Why would he need help if he didn't shoot someone? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Damn,
so,
dude. Binger should have objected to that. Super argumentative.
Again, I'm not being critical. How certain
Binger
are
fucked
you
that
that
one
in
up.
fact he didn't
He knows
say,
he did.
I did
Look
shoot
at that
someone
look on his face.
and
Oh
I
my
need help.
god.
Versus,
Rough.
or when you had, and he can shake his head if he wants, while you're
Binger's
sitting
pissed.
here now,
Binger is pissed.
why would he need help if he didn't shoot someone?
I'm going to object.
Argumentative.
Okay. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Call Amber Rasmussen.
Oh god, this one. This witness is a disaster for the prosecution. They aren't given the actual gun to examine, and they make several statements about the gun that are just inconclusive. It's really bad. It's terrible. It's shockingly bad. They shouldn't even have called her. They already stipulated that Kyle has killed these people.
Of the firearm or this area of the firearm, and we'd like you to test it. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree that you never got a swab from the barrel of that gun?
The barrel guard was the closest, to my knowledge, that was obtained from the barrel of the gun.
Do you know what a barrel guard is?
I do not.
What the?
There is very strong support for exclusion for Anthony M. Huber in this mixture. It is at least 2 billion times more likely to observe this DNA profile if it is a mixture resulting from 2 unknown individuals than Anthony M. Huber and another unknown individual.
They're basically saying there's no chance Huber touched the gun. Remember this. Remember this.
In Exhibit 45, I see a person walking the opposite direction
picture.
of the
Look at
whoever's
this
taking
picture.
the
That's
photo,
Kyle on the ground.
and a person
And then
on the
you see-
ground,
it
and
looks
they
like
are
he's being dragged. That's Huber also. I want to point that out. That is Huber. The guy that basically has no chance of touching this gun. It looks like he's dragging Kyle.
You agree that it appears Anthony Huber is touching that, and we agree that's a gun. You'd agree that Anthony Huber is touching that gun, right? It appears to be he's touching that gun?
It appears to be.
Okay.
Got
Now,
him.
in the
Oh,
areas
man.
Huber holding
Yeah, here's another picture
skateboard.
of Huber touching the gun.
And that's
Not
a
once, but
firearm.
twice.
You'd agree it appears that Mr. Huber is touching that firearm. Would you agree with that?
Looks like
That
open
appears to
palm,
be the
no
case.
glove.
Okay. And
Kyle is wearing
So,
gloves, and he still gets DNA on
the
this
fact
gun, by the way.
that
They bring in Anthony Huber's grandmother. This is easily one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I don't know about you.
Had you ever seen Anthony Huber run towards danger?
Yes.
Oh god, this is a huge fuck up by everyone involved.
Sustained.
As to which ground?
Both.
Look at this guy, just blank stare. He's like, I'm fucked. I have nowhere to go from this.
Well, maybe. Certainly on the second round.
We've heard nothing about having a custom evidence in this case.
Pardon me?
We've heard nothing but having a custom evidence. I think I can rehabilitate.
Well, first off, you don't need to comment on the ruling. Secondly, they're different rules.
What is he talking about? Okay, here's what's going on. He's trying to get in character evidence that Huber was a good person because he's heroic, trying to save people by rushing down Kyle Rittenhouse. This is a terrible, terrible decision because then the defense is able to rebut this. If it's considered a pertinent character trait, then the defense is able to rebut this with negative aspects of this character trait, which is all of his criminal history, which almost got in if not for the defense objecting to it. If the defense didn't object to it, it would have gone very badly for the DA in hindsight. But we don't know that until the judge tells us, hey, if you put this in, you're boned. And that's what ended up happening. So they're like, all right, we'll withdraw this witness and this questioning and everything. And they put the old lady down.
Is that these people were going to stop an active shooter, that they were provoked by Kyle Rittenhouse.
Terrible theory of the case.
By his actions with Mr. Rosenbaum.
Terrible
that
theory
his
of the
actions
case.
there were of such provocation as they believed he was an active shooter. He was a danger to all of them. The state, frankly, believes that Mr. Huber is a hero, and that
No,
we can
no,
present
not even
evidence
close.
of-
I'll say it. That's a terrible theory. Whoever the DA's office came up with this theory should be fired. I mean, it's a decent theory, but here's the thing. If you bring up this character evidence, you would get boned 10 times out of 10. Everyone knows this. Everyone at the DA knows that he has a criminal history and knows that the defense can bring that criminal history up if you try to rehabilitate this witness or if you try to make this witness look good by character testimony. You should not do this. That's the good theory of the case. Don't even mention him at all. Mention that he's dead and show his corpse 1,000,000 times like you've been doing. That shit works. This shit doesn't. It won't. It'll backfire so badly.
Help you got it.
Yes, I do.
Please be seated.
They bring in Rosenbaum's girlfriend. Why would you do this? Why would
Did
do
you
this?
see you know Mr. Rosenbaum?
He's my fiance.
And is Mr. Rosenbaum
Was your fiance? So she's brought in just to say that the water bottle Rosenbaum had didn't have any flammable liquid in it, which is useless. What she was originally used for, I'm guessing, was for another character witness to say he was a good boy and didn't deserve to get blasted. But the DA quickly rethought that decision after the first failure with Huber's grandmother. There he is.
And then I was over there, and I observed that they did that.
Well,
I just
tell me
happened to
this,
catch a
right?
photo with them.
You didn't think they were there to harm you, did you?
No.
This is that guy's brother. He also doesn't know anything. This guy is the inventory manager for the car lots that were damaged and protected by Kyle and other armed individuals that night. He's the inventory manager, but he doesn't know anything about the inventory. He doesn't know anything about the insurance claim on the inventory. His dad would know all of this stuff, but his dad doesn't speak English, so he's here to substitute for his dad.
Did you ever have any discussions that day with anyone about protecting or guarding either of the car source locations or car doctor?
No, sir.
He actually did. We get a text message of him texting Kyle.
Do you know or have you ever heard of a person by the name of Kyle Rittenhouse?
Now I have.
He's already heard of him because he's texted him the day prior to this all going down.
On that day, did you have any contact of any kind? Phone call, a face-to-face discussion, an email, a text message, anything like that with the person that you now know is Kyle Rittenhouse?
No, sir.
It's amazing. I don't know what the strategy was here. He'd come into court on subpoena and then lie his ass off, I guess, was the plan here. It goes terribly for him. It always does.
Do you remember having any contact with that person?
He has to think about it.
Sorry, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
While he's armed?
No.
No, I have to point this out. You can barely see it, but Binger has a Republic pin from Star Wars. I hope the irony is not lost on him that the Republic is a resistance against a totalitarian government, and in this scenario, Banger is a totalitarian government holding a political prosecution against an innocent individual, which is the complete irony of this situation.
And could you tell what kind of shell casings those were?
Those were 40 caliber.
Okay, so this witness here, really nothing of note. He comes in to investigate after the scene's been cleared by Kenosha PD already. He's like their forensic expert, but he comes in after the scene's already been tampered with, it sounds like. He finds handgun rounds at the scene. He doesn't find the fire extinguisher that we see on the scene on video. So really, his testimony doesn't really amount to anything. I think the DA called him to waste a bunch of time, and man, they did that. They succeeded. Now this officer is the last witness for the day. He doesn't really say anything of note, besides that Kyle should have turned himself in by laying face down on the ground and putting his hands on behind his back. And that way that officer would have known that Kyle is surrendering. Because Kyle just walked towards them with his hands up, he had no idea that Kyle was surrendering, which is absurd to me. I've never heard of someone surrendering to them by getting down on the ground and laying on their face. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kyle gets pepper sprayed at one point too by these guys.
At that point, is that you yelling, "Get out of the road"? Did you hear that?
Yes, I heard it. I'm not certain if that's Officer Krieger or myself. I believe both of us were yelling at him to get out of the road.
Yeah, that's the best part. Not only do they not know he's surrendering, but they yell, "Get out of the way! We got a crime scene to go to! We gotta find this shooter!" That was the best part to me. So that's why they have to save face and be like, well, he didn't surrender properly. Obviously, we would have caught him if he did. Oh, God.
Officer Reddy, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And that concludes day 4, Friday. Got the big weekend. What a disaster for the prosecution. Disaster.